Hey, I am coming in after a long time of not posting on my channel, and I'm gonna explain why. This could be short, this could be long, this could be hazy, y'all. It's gonna be what it is. You may hear my husband, you may hear my bunny. Anything is liable to happen. But I was sitting down to do my weekly preparation stuff, and I just knew that it was time to kind of start bringing this all together. And so this is gonna I don't know how long this will be. It'll be however long it is. I'm gonna post it as is. And so I'm gonna do a mini update and then I'm gonna jump into everything. But I'm gonna say this. If you are somebody who is wanting to pursue your dream, your goals, make a transition, make a change, this could be for you. If you are somebody that you are in the midst of a leveling up and you are feeling the friction and the tension of leveling up, this could be for you. Will I cover all that in this one? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But I will tell you that I have been going round and round with doing this, and I keep stopping myself for so many reasons, and I'm tired of that. I also know that this has been a platform that has historically been one that I've always enjoyed creating for and being a part of, even with all the ups and downs. Y'all, I just always love a good makeup tutorial. I don't care what nobody says. I just do. I also feel like there has been so much an evolution of um, YouTube just really being a place to learn, but not just to learn about makeup or to fix something on your car or to meal prep, but to find how to connect dots. Now, when you're connecting dots and information, I think there's this gap because there's this space where everybody's a guru. And I'm not sure that's not my lane. Like everybody's a guru. Everybody knows. Everybody's building the same type of business. But I always feel like what does that look like on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis when you are aiming to get those things done? How do you know what the things and tasks that you need to complete are? And what does that look like when you're in the messy middle? Okay. And I don't, again, that's not going to be all in this one, but I feel like that is where I, as a person, shine. Like I have learned in life how to get things done when everything is going on. I'm the person that whether they say you should multitask or not, I'm gonna get it done. And that's just the nature of who I am. But it's also the nature of who I am because that is what life has dictated. And I've always strived to see my life in person the way I see it in the vision, the way that God has given to me. And I'm in a season now where He's showing me something that is much bigger than I could have ever seen. And I'm needing to go back to those roots of reminding myself, Dana, just do it the way God showed you. So here, he didn't show me to come on after I finished my workout, but this is where you messy action still is action, right? So I'm gonna fill you in, and then I'm gonna tell you why we have this Google Doc behind us, okay? So this is the intro. I'm gonna come back with the real intro that may look a little bit fancy or not. You know what? I ain't even gonna do that, but I am going to do this. What's the deal? Because I didn't do that at first. If you are a new subscriber, welcome because I still have people subscribing even though I haven't updated in a long time. If you are a old subscriber, what's up? Thank you so much for hanging around. I have not done updates in a long time. My last video, I think, was with my daughter, and I've been doing a couple of shorts just to try to get over this hump of what was going on. And I've just decided to keep my eyes forward and not look at anyone else because I've missed documenting some of these things so that I can have some sort of digital or some imprint of what's happening as I'm journeying through this new journey, moving through this new journey. So, quick updates are housekeeping. Quick updates are I'm still crafting. I am now in the hunt for a really easy bottom up sweater because I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks and I want to start an audiobook sweater. And I kind of feel like I'm going to go to my Old Faithful, my boxy sweater, because she has a new bottom up. It's new to me because I haven't went on to Ravelry in a long time, but a new bottom up sweater that I'm looking at. So I'm going to actually spend some time kind of looking at the reviews and people's stuff and then see if I have all the materials because I do believe that I do. We're going through a huge transition of moving stuff around. So I'm going to be packing up a lot of my stuff and won't have access to it. So I need to decide soon. Other crafting in my quilt studio or in my studio, that is on and popping. I have literally been working on a whole bunch of just 9 patches, working on a scrappy Irish chain quilt, and I will come back hopefully with a more detailed video because it's been a lot of fun. My new studio is across the hall from my office, so I work in what I call 45-15 sprints, and I spend 15 minutes in there several times a day, anywhere from 3 to 4 times a day. And I've gotten to the point where in a 15-minute period, I can complete 9 patches, and then I stack them up, and then towards the end of the week, I'll press them, and then I'll lay out my whole design board with more 9 patches and do it all over again. So that's been nice because it's very low level pressure. I'm not trying to complete a pattern. I'm just doing it. I do know how many I need to get a top done, but I'm not worried about that. I am truly in a season of crafting for the sake of mental clarity and because it makes me happy. And so that's why I haven't had a lot of updates on that. I'm not in a rush. So trying to do a regular video on that would be very boring because every week pretty much looks the same. But it's a blessing. So there's that. The third update, well, I'll say I have a third and a fourth update. The third update is that I am at the time of this recording doing the 75 hard challenge, and I want to grab the book that I'm working on. So the book that the 75 hard challenge is a mental toughness challenge. If you would like to hear more about it and for me to sit down and just talk about that, please put it in the comments. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 people. That'll give me one more thing that I don't have to think about completing or thinking about. But part of the mental toughness challenge is physical, which is why I'm dressed like this, because I've gone for my first workout of the day, and then I'm going to be doing my second workout of the day in the next couple of hours. But you read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. And the book that I am reading is called The Audacity to Be Queen. Now, look, let me read the subtitle. The Unapologetic Art of Dreaming Big and Manifesting Your Most Fabulous Life. And I want to talk a little bit about this because it'll go into what I'm going to share with you all today. So this is the nonfiction book. What I'm reading in my fiction world, because I'm reading it to do a fun little talk with one of my editing friends, and that is I'm reading Beautifully Cruel, which is a book that I love, but I'm reading it again, and I am studying it. You can't see, but like lots of notes to prepare for something that we're working on. And the final book that I'm going to share is this Bible. This is a new Bible purchase that I've had in the past month. I got one for myself and one for my husband. His is really cool. It's just a regular like brown leather that has a zipper on it. But the reason why I bought this Bible is I wanted a Bible that I can move around the house with me. Like it's not meant to be just at my study area or on my bedside, but I carry it literally around with me almost everywhere. And it is pretty dope because I wanted it just to be a regular reading version. I love NOT for just a regular reading. And what's really cool about this one is it's NLT. The font is sort of small, but pretty easy to read. The pages are your standard Bible pages. But what I love about this Bible is it has, I'm going to show you the big version. It's a QR code, and it's a QR code in the top. And what it allows you to do is align the Bible with their app. And it has study notes and references and all of that that goes with the Bible. So you have a thin Bible that's easy to carry around. It's perfect hand size. I have small hands, perfect hand size. Um, Cover is beautiful. I picked one of my favorite colors, and it has all of the resources, but it's in your phone instead of having a big thumper of a Bible. So that is something else that I really wanted to share. Again, I'll link everything in the description bar, but I just wanted to share that. Definitely let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm not doing any sort of reading plan with it. I'm just starting at the beginning of the Bible. I've read the Bible cover to cover many, many, many times, and this time I'm not in a rush. Not doing a particular plan. I'm just very mindful of what's going on in my life right now and what He is moving me towards. And I know He will bring to mind what I need, or bring to the surface what I need as I read. So that is my reading update. That was number 4. That was actually piggybacked on the 75 hard challenge. Number 5, which people always still leave me messages about, is my hair. Y'all, I promise I'm gonna do something soon. I keep saying that I'm gonna do I actually need to do it now to moisturize and kind of do a braid out. I want to recount my locks because I haven't done that in a long time, and I've started some and I've married some, and so that'll be coming. Um I'm not in a huge rush about it, and the reason why is because I don't do a lot. I still don't do a lot. And that's another reason why I always wanted sister locks, or always wanted locks. And locks are just very friendly to my lifestyle. And so that's it. It'll come. I know it's a very popular thing on my channel, so it will come. Another reason why is because I just like being able to go back and look at the different years, especially when I look at my earlier videos, and because there are so many people that have a fine hair, thin hair like me, that love to see it as an inspiration, and I do know that. So I will definitely be coming back with that soon. I'm not gonna promise today, but I will. Okay, it's coming. So the reason why, now to the matter at hand, I wanted to do this video is I was stopping and sitting down to do my weekly review. And I was thinking about one of the shorts that I did recently about, if you are pursuing a goal, part of that is really looking at how do you spend your time. And I'm like, I am a planner. I'm not the type of planner who everything has to go to plan, because I'm very fluid in realizing that things happen. But having a plan and steps in place help me to know what to do next, so that I won't get caught up in my immediate circumstances, that I don't allow myself to get caught up in what I see, and that I'm moving by faith. And that's really why I like laying out my plan. So the reason why I have this up is I wanted to share this with you. So here, one of the things that I do when I sit down to think about my week, and I'm gonna just actually come here, I'm gonna cover that, is to ask, like, how do you start your week? And I always list out my goals. Like, what do I want to accomplish for the week? And I have to do this. A few years ago, a few like 7 to 10, I realize now that I'm getting older, everything feels like it's a few years ago, but if I look at the calendar, it's been years. So I'm going to say a few years ago, but it's probably about 7 to 10 years ago. I realized that I am a visionary. So what may happen to me is I see this goal, and that is the goal. And my brain doesn't always, if I don't slow down, it does not take the time to realize how much is required to accomplish that goal or to make that goal happen. And so that's when I started being intentional about listing the things that I needed to do in that week. And if it's a huge goal that I have that I don't have any idea how I'm going to accomplish it, when I originally decide, like, this is my goal, then I will sit down and start mapping out what I feel like I need to do, as far as my actions, because the results are up to God. But as far as my actions, so that my actions meet or exceed my faith, then I start listing those out. And then when I get to my week to week basis, it's really about this week. What does it look like this week? So I list those goals out, and then I block out the time. I have a very detailed time blocked digital calendar, and I do have a paper calendar, which I've shared over the years, that I will list out for that week what I need to do and what items and tasks that I'm going to do during those time blocks when I have the time blocks. So I will marry my task to when I have a block available. So when I have that block, I can sit down and know what I'm working on during that time that I have allocated. And I have to do that because it's easy once I've had a busy day to be like, whew, and sit there and take a breather and take 15 to 20 minutes, and all I have is 45 minutes to an hour to work. I need those 15 to 20 minutes. So it's really it's really crucial that I utilize it and be very clear about what I'm aiming to accomplish. Another thing that this does is it helps me, because another one of my, I don't want to call it a blind spot, but I don't have another way of saying it, is that I don't always I do a good job of knowing how much time it takes to complete something. And that is a was a big challenge for a long time. So that's another reason why, like, once I start listing out what my goals are and what I need to accomplish for the week, and then I assign it to a block, then if I'm unable to complete that task during that block of time, then now I know that maybe I need to take that task and spread it out over 2 blocks of time or over 3 blocks of time. And that has helped me a lot with that kind of blind spot in my tabulating. I don't know what to call it, but I just essentially I'm a very analytical person. So if I find that I am unable to do something, or I have a challenge with doing something, I try to identify what was the challenge and how can I bake in a process to help alleviate that challenge or lessen the disruption that that challenge could have on me accomplishing my task or my goals. The next question that I ask myself are, what are some foreseeable challenges and how can you address them? And some of the things that I've told you right now have been my foreseeable challenges. Or if I have outing, or I have an appointment, or I need to, like this week, I need to work on content for a workshop for my job. And if I need to do that, that's usually not in a 1 hour thing, but it may bleed over into time that I usually have for other tasks. So it's just important that I take a look at that and maybe reshuffle things if needed. The last thing I would think about is, who can you tag in, or who is someone that can help? And this used to not be on my list. And that was such a disservice to myself. And I have a team of people that help me, but if I never look at how they can help me in the most crucial ways in us moving the initiatives forward, then I'm not utilizing my some of my best assets at my disposal. And sometimes I may find that when I think about this question, that I have someone that can just do it much better than I can, that I just need to do it to a certain point and then pass it off. And if I need to pass it off to them, it may be that I need to send them a message and, like, hey, do you have availability this week, or when do I need to get this over to you, or here's what I'm working on, and here's how I'd like for you to help me with that. When can I get it over to you? Or, so that we can coordinate, and that can be a part of my approach for the week. So, the final question that I ask myself or that I consider is, if I could accomplish one thing this week, what would it be? And how can I make that happen? And this comes about because I, again, as a visionary, have big goals. And those big goals, sometimes at the end of the week, you would, if you ask yourself, did you, okay, one of my big goals is where I foresee my publishing company being. And so let's say that, did my publishing company meet its, XYZ goal? I will probably answer no to that question every single week for 3, 6, 12 months. And that will make it seem like nothing is happening. But if I bring my perspective down to level of like, if my goal, one of our big goals is to, have an 8-figure publishing company. Well, we don't start there, right? It may be right now working on having a 6-figure month. Well, we're not there, but we're working aggressively at it. So it may be, well, what are the elements of that to make that happen? Well, we need to have this number of releases or this number of downloads or this number of, and those areas I can clearly say, like, did we accomplish that this month? Did we accomplish that this week? Did we accomplish that today? And so having those types of things are so important. The other part about this is, as you're looking at this, of really, if you're a person, whether it's for your personal goals or for your professional goals or for your business goals, having those things separate. Now, you may want them all together. For me, having them separate is so important because I am a vital I play a vital part in each one of those sections, in both my role because I work for a company now, and also in my business because I am the president and CEO of a publishing company. And I also have clients that I work with one on one. And I do this over a course of a month that is allocated and blocked accordingly. But with that said, it is easy for my personal goals to get missed because those other ones seem so much more important, and they're not more important than my personal, but it may feel like it because I can say, well, I can do that later. And that's kind of what happened with me coming here today, right? It's like not saying I can do that later, doing what I can, and over time getting better, or in time this becoming a much more, and I should probably move myself over so I don't look crazy, this becoming a vital part of my content creation process. And I will have more time to put up my lights and pull out my good camera and all of that. But in the meantime, this is what it is. And it doesn't mean don't do it though. And I feel like I'm gonna have a squirrel moment, and I promise I'll come back. I feel like for me, sometimes I'll look at all these people and they have these different, they have these crisp videos. Y'all listen. Y'all see some other videos. I got the camera, I got the equipment. Y'all, that take time to put it up. And I'm not gonna have my house disrupted for content creation because that's not my life. But at the same time, I do believe that I am responsible for the people that God has called to cross my path. And that means you need to hear this as much as I need to say this, whoever you are. It might be one person, hey, boo. It may be 10. I don't know. That's not my problem, and that's not my job. My job and my role, that's the word I was looking for. That's not my role. My role is to show up. I'm here, present and accounted for. Okay? And so with that said, I have to look forward and not look at everything else. And it could be 1, it could be 100, it could be like some of my videos with 30,000. I don't know. Um, and one day I think it will be. I think this will be a huge part of my platform, but not because it's just about content, but about connecting and helping you realize your full potential and to walk into the fullness that God has given you, whatever that is. So, with that said, so your girl was here. That was my squirrel. So, with that said, to come back to center, it's like How do you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be, or where you are and the vision that God has given you? Because most times that bridge seems really like it's a far way off. And let me tell you, don't let that fool you. I've seen things and I thought, oh, that's going to be 15, 20 years from now. Y'all to be like next week or next month or next year, and I don't know it. And because it feels far off, I am not fully ready because I have not been preparing the way that I should have. And that's the thing that I am truly working on, because God keeps bringing things and I'm like, wait, now what? Like, what? And right now, he has me working on this project that I am fairly certain it is a long range project, but I need the time and I need to be very intentional because my time is limited. So, with that said, once I've done all that, I have a final step that I like to do. If you're a person where you can't have too much going on, or you really need to focus on one or two things, then don't do this step, right? But this step helps me a lot. And my next step is like, I will come down and I will just start listing all the tasks that I really would like to accomplish. They don't rise to the level of my top four, which I'll show you in a second, but they are important enough that I gotta write them down. I gotta see them in writing. And I'll do it like this, but then I will hand write them in my planner so that I can go back and see them, because I found that my schedule was so crazy, but every once in a while I get this patch of downtime and I don't want to waste it. So I'll go to my lists and I'll just start working off of my lists. And the other part that I think this does is it's like sets the intention for me and for God of like, I really would like to get this done. Help me to see where I have time to slowly chip away at these things. So, with that said, I'll come down to the bottom and I will list those out, and I will just have them for myself. So let me go back up to the thing that I told you that I have like my top four. So here's my personal top four, and I will have something similar for business, and I will have something similar, not as many for my job, but I usually will have like big things that I need to do for my job. And depending on the week, I may have some things that I need to do with clients. And I will just list all of those in their own sections in my planner. And then I will assign it to my blocks the same way I'll assign it to the blocks, because I'll have client blocks, I have work blocks, I have business blocks, I have personal blocks, and I will just go in and begin to allocate those. And when I say allocate them, I have them in my Google Calendar. And I'm going to do a hard pause here. If any of this you all want to see, let me know. I don't mind sharing it. I mean, I won't share all my personal details because I'm just not, that's not the stage that this is at. But I think it's about like real life. How do you get things done? And this is how I get things done. Okay. And so if any of it you'd like to see, let me know again, because it'll just give me something that I know to record. Y'all gonna get it like this for a second. I'm not even gonna lie, because I just want to make sure I'm doing something every week. I just want to show up every week. So I'm declaring that intention, and I'm actually gonna bring back that Audacity book. So I'm hoping y'all won't let me forget. So I'll sit down and look at my top four. Why four? Because four is my favorite number. But I just have those. And before, I used to also have four because some people will tell you, oh, you're top three. And I'm like, why three? Or somebody be your top one. Why only one? And to me, I have found that the four works. And it's challenging. And I will say this about being challenging. When I list my top four, I don't know. I don't have to accomplish them to feel accomplished. And I'm going to explain that. Because me and my husband have a talk about this all the time. He's like, what? That doesn't make sense to him. But to me, my schedule is usually so busy that if I don't have it down in my top, I will not touch it because it's not important. It's not important for me to look at and see every day. So if it's important for me to look at and see every day, my mind is always looking for time to do it. And if at the end of the week, let's say on this 10K words for on my manuscript, if at the end of the week I only had 3,000, I'm still better off. And I'm okay with that. Other people may not be, but I am. I'm okay with it. And I think I'm okay with it because I know at the end of the day, the book's going to get done. It will get done. So I just need to keep that in my radar. Like I need to keep it in the horizon. Um, so I will do this. I'll allocate it into my digital calendar. I will list the items that I need on in my planner, and then in a given day in the morning, I will sit and handwrite out what are those elements that I know I will do today. And I'll hopefully leave room for notes or any other kind of things that I need to look at on a, like at a moment by moment basis. And then, so here is what I have for this week, like as I'm recording. Write 10,000 words on my manuscript. I want to complete week 1 of my content creation stuff that I'm working on. I have a big project that I'm working on in my editing business, and I just really want to take it 1 week at a time. So I'm working on week 1 of that. Editing, I have a client manuscript that I'm editing, so I want to continue to edit that project and complete my 75 hard elements. That usually for my health stuff, it's not in my top 4 because it's just something I'm doing every day. But because the 75 hard challenge is hard and it takes a lot of time, I've really got to be intentional about it. And so it's got to be in my top 4 every day, at least for the next 75 days. Well, 72. Yeah, I just started. But I'm going to claim my 3 days that I finished. And then just one thing, if I could do just one thing this week, it would be sending the manuscript off to the editor. I have 2 editors that I work with regularly to get manuscripts through the publishing company. And I'm almost finished with my element of getting that manuscript done. So getting that off to the editor this week would be a major accomplishment. And actually, because I am going to do this, y'all, I'm just gonna claim it right now. I'm gonna do this every week. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something, and then I will list this, and then I'll be able to come back and tell you all how I did, or for myself. Okay, so in my phone, y'all, if you ask me how I did it, I don't remember how I did it. I'm so sorry, but I have my calendar set up so that I have the weeks showing, and I'm going to just show this for a second. Do you see here on the side, like week 23, 24, 25, 26? And that is how I run everything in my business, down to promos for our authors, promos for books that we're working on. I work it on a weekly kind of calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right now as my week 23. It's one thing that got me tripping, it did. Every time I do it, I think of Amory. Oh, okay. So let me just put this at the top. And then when I come back, I'll be able to tell y'all if I did it, when I did it, what I did, how it went down. Y'all, I love just work a lot in Google Docs. So I'm going to do this so that when we come back, I'll have my top 23 and I'll be able to put whether I did it. It's probably not going to let me do it because you're here. It's all good. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head. Okay. I'm just gonna do this like this because it'll make it so that we can see it here. And what I'm gonna do is this will be a good time if you want to take a look at these questions and write them down. So I'm gonna make myself there. And this will be a good time to pause if you want to write down these questions for yourself. And now I know this is long, but what I'm going to do is just spend a few minutes doing this final part on the task. And actually, I'm going to just, here in the task, I'm going to just tell you what's made up of it because I looked at the time and this has been super long. So um, this task is going to be a little bit of everything. Like right now, I want to work on some. I have some coach assignments. I have two coaches. Well, four coaches that I work with. Two that are in business, one for my health, and one for my personal writing. And so I have coach assignments that I need to complete. I want to work on a student database for my job. So I want to kind of set something up for that. I want to work on a Pinterest board because I'm working on some projects around the house. I also want to work on a digital vision board. I had one and I used to do it every single month that would go onto my computer, and I want to do that more often. And I also want to make it for computer background. And I want to work one for my weekly, for my phone. I want to be able to look at it every single time I look at my phone version. If y'all want to see how to do any of these, definitely let me know. Again, I'm going to keep saying that because it's going to help your girl out, y'all. I'm telling y'all once a week. I'm saying once a week, I'm going to do it. It's going to look like this, y'all, but we're going to do it, okay? It would be so dope if you are doing it with me, that you stop, you write down your goals and start working on those goals that you're accomplishing. I need to prep for my book conversation, my book. Y'all, she gonna be like, you got me with Jen. I need to do food prep. I want to finish. I've been reading the other book that I did not highlight in the books that I'm reading, and I am reading it, so I'm going to put it down, is this book, which has been amazing. Fast, Feast, Repeat. I want to finish. Unlike the other, I need to finish Beautiful Cruel, but with the other one, it's just 10 pages a day. This one, I want to finish this week. It's been really, really good. And that's what this is like, y'all. Oh, I want to do my budget for the house projects, and then I want to start gathering. And I think that's it. I think that's it. I have a few more, I'm sure. But stuff like this, I wanted to do this right now because this will be a mix. It will be a mix of personal and all of that. And this, I will, some of it I will transfer into my physical planner, but I don't transfer it until I'm actually about to do it, or I can project a time when I can do it. So for example, I may sit down Tuesday morning and I may say, ooh, today I can work on this, like the food prep and groceries. That's like gonna start tomorrow, and then I always order my groceries on Tuesday, but I can always load everything that I want to order in the app tomorrow while I'm doing the prep. So things like that, it just helps me. And you know what, if I'm just doing this, just remind myself to do the menu. Yeah. And okay, so the final thing that I want to close out with is back to this book. And I just kind of want to close out with something a little bit more like focus. So definitely any of this other stuff, let me know if you have any questions. Whether it's about what 75 hard is and how I'm doing it and how it's going, goal setting, what I'm reading, like y'all, I don't care if it's one or two. Like let's start just putting together a list, knowing that this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so I want to talk about this book for a second. Okay, I almost lost my recording, y'all. Okay, so this book, The Audacity to Be Queen. At first, when I started reading it, I was like, what the heck did I just pick up? There is a vlogger that I really like her vlogs. I am Shelly. I just like it. I used to like her makeup tutorials. I love her vlogs. And I wish she'd bring makeup tutorials back, but whatever. Um, she shared the book, and at first I was like, oh, this will be pretty interesting. But I'm going to tell you why. Because at first I wasn't feeling the book. I'm not even going to lie. I will come back and be more detailed about it once I'm into it. Right now, it's going great. But I want to talk about why I decided to do this book. And this is going to be your Easter egg at the end of this video if you stayed here this long. Because this is long, y'all. But y'all know how it is on my channel. And I should have warned you in the beginning. This is when you do like old school. Grab your project, sit, listen, make it happen. So one of the things that has happened over this past year and a half is realizing that how much mindset plays into your goal setting and your reaching your goals. And actually I'm just gonna speak for myself. I I knew how to do it, but I didn't realize how much I had changed in my thought process to make things happen. And it wasn't until I started working with the current company that I'm working with. I had my own business. I was doing some coaching for them. They asked me to come on full time to help them with their students, and I was like, "Oh, that'll be fun." Well, as a part of it, I'm participating in all the training, and the head coach, she does a lot of stuff on mindset, and I used to always think of mindset as like stuff for woo woo people. I'm not even gonna lie. Every time I think about it, I'm like, girl, you was just doing too much. But she always does mindset, and I would just do the exercises and everything because I'm there and I'm helping the students. But that wasn't my time to train. I'm just there to help. Like I'm her second. And I started really thinking about it, and I started seeing how so many things that I was doing was mindset work. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I think whether it's upbringing, exposure, just just not paying attention, whatever. And so I really started listening to what she was saying. And when I started listening to what she was saying, I was like, oh, wow, like I've been doing this the whole time of like not just, journaling and visualizing, but I've been doing it for years, like so long. And to the point where it is what initially changed my whole thought process to get out of my life circumstances to where I am now. And my husband and I was talking about it yesterday of how I thought I wasn't doing it as much. And he helped me to see, like, Danny, you've always done that. But I didn't think of it. I don't, y'all, I don't, I know I'm not probably making much sense. That I just didn't think of it as mindset. And now that I know it's mindset, it's made me so intentional. So I'm going to give some examples and then I'll wrap it up, okay? One example is when I was growing up, um, I grew up in the projects, and it sounds weird to say sometimes because people may think whatever, but I did. And my mother is great, but it's a single parent household, and if anything that you would think that comes with that is probably true. She just had a regular, um, slightly above minimum wage job, but she always took really good care of us. But it was three of us, three girls, and I always knew how to see something that I wanted, and I just put my head down and I worked until it happened. In high school, I was going to school full time in high school, and I had two jobs in high school. Um, I still participated in dance in ROTC, and I still had two jobs. I used to work at a daycare that catered to nurses, so that means I could work until midnight, and I would do my homework after the kids went to sleep. And I worked at a grocery store, and so what I'm saying is I've always knew how to get stuff done, but I never saw that as being like a a a positive attribute. I just saw it as being, this is what you have to do, right? Like another example, and this will probably come out more, but another, and I'm just showing like it's possible, hopefully. But another example is when I decided that when my kids, well, I could say, I probably would talk about much more about this other thing later. I could say like about how we raised our kids, how we've always like structured our marriage and our business. And I'm sure that'll come up a lot more frequently. So I'm gonna use a different example. And a different example in a way was like how I decided I wanted to get my dream car. And I knew I wanted to get it once my kids were finished and graduated. And when they graduated and I finished homeschooling my kids after over 20 years of homeschooling, I was like, I'm ready to get my dream car, which was a sports car. So I knew the kids couldn't be like at home, because it was going to be like a two-seater. Listen, not it wasn't gonna be a real two-seater, but it was like be no room for nobody in the back seat. I wanted it was what I call my purse car. I wanted enough room for my man in my purse, okay? And so I knew what I wanted, and I went to the place and I got all the information, got all the details about the car, took a picture with the car. Y'all, I was posing like that. Baby, they was looking at me like I was crazy. And less than a year later, I got that car. And this has happened to me so many times. But I'm going to go back to where I started. It wasn't until I was in that training that I realized how much I had got a vision. I set my intention. I figured out what I needed to do and then put my head down until it happened. And now I'm in the season where I have so many examples of that happening, and I know that that is something I'm able to do, that I'm now doing it intentionally. Why am I telling you all this? I'm not telling you all this to tell y'all my business. That's why I'm being a little bit vague, okay? But it's the thing of this, figuring out how do you take in what you've learned and what you hear, even on this video, and making it work for you. Stop for a second. Think about your life of when you was winning. What were the factors that were attributed to you winning? those things are not always material. Those things are not always monetary. Those things are not always about people or love or promotions. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. But you've got to figure out what is that formula for you that really allows you to win at life. My goal when I say win is not about money, but you need money to do it. Let's keep it 100. The dollar amount on that varies, the weight on that varies. It's not always about people, but it is about serving people. And it's not about happiness, but it's about joy. Happiness is fleeting. You can have joy and things are just not going the way you really want them to, and you can still have joy. And so at the end of this very, very long video, I would say if you have somewhere that you want to go, or you have this vision that God has given you, and your prayer is, God, I want to see it in my physical. I want to be ready for it when you give it to me. I know it's mine to have, but I want to be the type of person and daughter of his that when he gave me something, he knew she gonna do it. She gonna do it. And everybody in that sphere of influence wins when we are operating at that level. So if that is you, stop. Think about when in your life you felt like you were winning, where things were just aligning for you. What were the factors? And know that we cannot manufacture the results. We can't. The results are up to God. But we can manufacture the factors that build to point us in the right direction. The way that I always say this to my clients is we want to always stack it so that the odds are in your favor. The more that you align those odds, the more favorable, potentially, faithfully, your outcome will be. And it has been like this thing in my mind of being a representative of a believer and a daughter of God and a follower of Christ and a person who aims daily to walk with Christ and live based on what the Holy Spirit prompts me to do, but to be a true reflection of God's goodness, his abundance, his love, and how he's doing things right now in the earth. And it requires me to, y'all, your girl got to step her game up. I just know it. Hence, coming in my workout clothes and doing this video this way. So this was really long. And so if you made it this far, hugs in the chat. Tell me what was the most helpful for you from this video. Also tell me what is something else you'd like to see. Is there a topic that I could talk about or we can cover? And I am making a commitment to come back on next week, week 24, to talk about how everything went and to talk about my top 4 and my one thing. And I'm going to just keep doing it and give myself permission to have messy action. And it may not all be here in this lighting, y'all, because this lighting is not favorable. But that is what I'm committing to myself and to you. So with that said, your girl is out. Have a fantastic week, and I hope to see you sooner than later. Take care and goodbye.